Well, good evening and welcome to About the Valley. My guest tonight is Bill Moore, who is the president of Project New Hope. And what it says, where veterans rebuild with honor.
Yep,
And we're
absolutely.
going to talk about it.
Right.
Bill's a disabled vet
Yep.
who decided he wanted to help out vets. And he's the other guy who started this whole organization going, right?
I am. I'm the president and founder of Project New Hope. We're finishing up our 15th year.
Where's the time go, huh?
Time flew by. I started this 15 years ago. I retired from the Commonwealth of Mass I worked for the Department of Children and Families, and then I jumped over to Workforce Central, and I was a disabled veterans employment rep for maybe a year, 16 months. And then the VA put me at 100% service connected, and I retired at 50 years old. And my wife was horrified at that thought of me being retired. But I got very involved. I was talking with my therapist at the vet center to say, listen, can I volunteer? And they said, because I was total and permanent, unemployable. And they said, we encourage you to volunteer. So, of course, I joined the Leicester Lions Club, and I became a Mason with the Jolie Truddy Lodge in Auburn, and then the Shriners up in Springfield. And
Wow, you really
yeah, well, I wanted to stay busy and stuff,
Yeah.
and then I joined the Disabled American Veterans, and I was the commander there at Worcester Chapter 4 for 3 years. And then I told the wife, I'm going to take a break. And of course, then I started Project New Hope, and I was running that out of my home in Leicester. And I think she got tired of me. She didn't have her garage for the wintertime to put the car in there because I had all the donations and stuff in there. So we rented a place down at the old wire mill on James Street. And we've been down there now 14
there.
years. Yeah, we're still there. And it just took off. We started offering week-long retreats focusing on PTSD, military sexual trauma, traumatic brain injury, women veterans retreats, male veterans retreats, couples retreats. We did a blind and visually impaired veterans retreat. So anything that affects us veterans, that's what I'm very proactive. I'm
And
always.
you have treatments at the retreats.
Yeah, I have. I had licensed therapists coming in that would do the workshops and meet with the veterans and the couples, and then that was going great. And then COVID hit, and we never shut down. We kind of pivoted because we couldn't rent out any of the facilities to do our retreats. So we opened up Sully's Veterans Food Pantry. I named it after my mom. Her maiden name was Sullivan. And when she passed from Alzheimer's, I named it after her, Sully's Veterans Food and Baby Pantry. And so that's been going very well. We started off, we had maybe 50, 60 veterans coming in from World War II to the current conflicts. And then we have a lot of widows of veterans that they come in as long as, they got the documentation that their spouse was in the military, and then Gold Star and Survivor families. We take care of all of them. And the food, we have a food pantry this Saturday, and we have 160 military and veterans families coming in, and it's all curbside pickup.
Yeah, I want to get into how it works.
Yeah.
They actually can order ahead of time, right?
Yeah, so what we did before, if your audience remembers, during COVID, there was a lot of these USDA boxes that they were giving away.
Yes.
And they were prepackaged, and I got one of them, and I opened it up and it had like a Ziploc bag of, say, soup. And then there was a carton of milk in there, and she says, would you eat any of this? And she's Billy, I wouldn't eat really
Yeah,
anything.
it was worse than sea ration.
Right, it was, yeah. And so what we decided to do at Project New Hope is I have a young lady, Debbie Erickson. She's from Milford, and she was running a daycare, and she was volunteering for me. And she developed my food pantry, and we created a order form. So instead of just giving them a box of USDA food that maybe they threw some rice in it, this or that, we so there was so much waste because people would get there and they say, oh, I don't like this, I don't like that. Well, we didn't want any waste because we couldn't get into the Worcester County Food Bank, and we still can't get into the Worcester County Food Bank 15 years later, and we have to purchase all our food. So we get that through donations and church groups and Masons and Shriners, Rotary, all that. And we have a grant writer, and we go shopping at Shaw's and Wegmans and wherever they have a sale, And they get to pick the food that they want. There's an order form, and they pick what they want. And we have, if you walked into our food pantry, you'd think you were at Shaw's Supermarket or wherever, because that's what we're carrying, that product there. And then, so they pick out the food that they want, and then we have
Now,
the,
can they, do they pick it out online, or you have a form?
no, we have a form. So initially, they come in, and they sit down with one of the girls in the office, and we show them the
Okay.
order form, and we give them a tour of the food pantry, and they're like, wow, this is incredible here. And this is to give them a hand up where it can save them a few dollars here, but, you know, they
Right.
still have to go shopping.
Yeah, you're still
you
gonna
know.
have to buy certain
Right,
items.
right. So they come in and they pick the food that they want, and then, you know, we partner with Lilac Hedge Farm up in Rutland, and they donated 50 dozen eggs. Well, then we got some grant money. We bought another 70 dozen eggs, so make sure every veteran coming in this weekend, they'll get a dozen of eggs. And then we partnered with Cooper's Hilltop Farm in Leicester, Mass., and they donated 50 jugs of milk, so we ordered 70 more. And so they'll all get a jug of milk here. And then we partner with, we're partnered with Hanovitz down in Westboro. They just closed the store. They would donate a lot of meat. And we partner with Walmart, and we get meat from them and non-perishable stuff, and Amazon and different stores and stuff. And so it's working out pretty well. And then on top of the food when they come in, so it's curbside pickup. And if you ever roll by our office on 70 James Street in Worcester on a Saturday, the first or third Saturday, the cars start in front of our building, and they go all the way up James Street to Stafford Street, and they
Oh,
go
wow.
around the corner. And
That's quite a distance.
yeah, and so we open up, we're in there at 7 a.m., setting everything up, bringing all the food bins up. We line them up on the sidewalk, and then there's the girls up at the start here, and you'll come in and they'll put a thing on your windshield, like box, whatever box is yours. And then you'd pull
Well,
up
pretty
there.
efficient system.
Yeah,
you got.
very efficient. And then we have a lot of volunteers out on the street, are all Marines and Army vets and Navy and Air Force and Coast Guard. And there's a lot of camaraderie talk going on out there. And of course, when I come up, they always pull up a chair for me. Hey, chair for, sit here. Don't work too hard here, you know. And so it's you know, I always say one fight. You know, it's a one team, one fight. And
Yeah.
but it's great. And once we open up that line, people come up, we take the ticket off, we bring their bin, they pop their trunk or back door, we put all their groceries in, and then we pick up stuff from Amazon, and we have cleaning supplies, toilet paper, paper towels, whatever Amazon sells online. Like if the warehouse and they're in there and they hit a pallet of say paper towels, and it's dented or ripped, well, they'll
Right.
donate it to us and we give it to our vets. So they drive up, they get all their food, and then we have like a specials table. And then they can pick a couple of items there. We got everything: Ring doorbells, security cameras, paper towels, cleaning supplies.
God.
And they're lined up. They're lined up before, when we get there, there's people already in line. They want to be the first one.
And the only qualification is be a veteran.
Be a veteran, right? It's we don't ask for income guidelines or any of that stuff
Right.
there. This is for the veteran, their spouse, and their minor children up to say 17 years old. So we've had veterans come in here and says, "Oh, my adult son's living here with his wife and his children." This is not for them.
Right.
This is for, you have to be the veteran there. And it's tough, we hate to turn away people, but, you know, our resources are limited. You know,
Oh, yeah.
we're functioning on donations, or if we get a grant to go out and purchase this stuff. And so we're averaging between 140, 160. We have two groups come in the first Saturday of the month and then the third Saturday. So, funny story, I shouldn't say a funny story. I was up at the VA in Worcester, and I was going to the MOVE program because I'm trying to get skinny like you, Harry. And so I asked the nutritionist woman, I says, it's nice that we're reading this book and we're going over how to eat healthy and read labels
Yeah.
and all that stuff there. But what is the VA doing to help us out, like to eat healthy? And she said, well, this is what we do here, you know, and we give you a little thing there. You can see how many steps you're doing or whatever here.
Right.
So I said, I'd like to start a farmer's market. I says, and we would come up here.
You gotta
and
eat healthy.
Yeah, you gotta eat healthy and stuff. So you're teaching this, let's help us
Yeah.
out eat healthy, because stuff's very expensive.
Right.
So-
that can be a problem.
Yeah, so she gave me who to contact, and we got a proposal together and sent it in. I think by the time I emailed that in, I think I had a call 20 minutes later saying we approve it. And the VA never approves anything that quick.
No,
So
they don't.
we started this last year, and we partnered with a group out in Acton, and it costs us like $1,500 a year. And we get 72 banana boxes every other week, the first and third Friday. We do at the Worcester VA up in Worcester, right across from UMass Medical. And we set up there, we're up there from 11 to 1 o'clock. And whatever they're growing, that's what we get. So
Yeah.
I think this week here, we're getting lettuce and cucumbers, and we had potatoes and corn, and so it's a variety. And this will be going till the third week in November. And then we're done for the season. And then we just go back to our food pantry. But we offer the farmer's market, and then the next day is our food pantry. So whatever we don't give out at the farmer's market, we disperse
Right.
when they come in. Very, very successful. The last one we did, we had 92 veterans got food in the first hour, the farmer's market.
Wow.
And they come through the line, we have all the banana boxes out with all the fresh vegetable radishes, I've never seen radishes so big. And they come and they pick out the stuff they want, and not too many people want that kale, but we do carry kale. And, but it's just, it's a blessing,
Kale's getting popular.
very popular. They're so thankful to come up, what we're doing here, and that makes us all feel good because,
Right.
I have the means, I don't have to, even though I'm the founder and president of Project New Hope, I don't take anything from there, because I get, I'm a retiree from the state. I'll be 68 tomorrow, so I'm on I was on SSDI, now I'm on regular Social Security, and then, of course, my VA pension and stuff. But, no, there's a lot of veterans out there. As a veteran, we'll always say, give it to somebody that needs it.
Yeah.
When, in fact, we need it. So where we're a veterans organization, I think it's a little easier for the vets to come forward and say, I need the help. Or it's the spouse come and say, listen, we need food in here. We gotta, and so it's been very, very successful.
I
And,
mean, yeah, a lot of guys, a lot of veterans are one paycheck away from
right,
not eating.
right. Not every, like a lot of vets, I have veterans come through here and the guy will say, I was in the Guard, I don't qualify for this or that. Listen, you served. You served whether you're on active duty, you're in the National Guard or the Reserve. Take your DD 214.
Well, especially today, the Guard, a lot of times they're deployed for
They're
a year.
deploying more than the regular active duty
Yeah.
soldiers are. And so they go and, I says, go up to the Worcester VA, bring your 214, because a lot of them don't have health insurance, or maybe they're on, what do they call it? What do they call when they get the insurance through the state?
Oh, yeah, Medicaid.
Medicaid or whatever.
We got a phone call.
Okay.
Go ahead, caller, you're on.
Hey, good evening, guys.
Hi, Barry.
Hey, Bill, Barry here. I'd like to say thank you for everything and appreciate everything. And our good friend from Joe from Milford, I believe he's in Mass General having a little surgery today, and prayers and thoughts with him. I don't know if you were aware of it.
Yeah, he was at the coffee social on Tuesday, and he told me he was going in to have some back surgery done.
Mm-hmm. So
Joe
I hope
Luffy.
everything comes good. And no,
Is
I
it
just want
Milford
to
Hospital?
reemphasize all the great work that you and your organization do, and the other organizations out there. And Harry can relate to, like a lot of us when we came after the Vietnam and everything, that there wasn't a lot of these things available.
Right.
And even the World War II and Korean veterans, a lot of things weren't available to them like this. And there are a lot of veterans in need. And I also, I don't know if you've mentioned it, but I think your program to help, veterans, mothers, and children is also very highly, just so highly appreciative of what you and your excellent group does, and it really helps the veterans and the need out there for them. And so I just wanted to call in and say thank you, and I'll look forward to seeing you on Belmont Street up there with sometimes when you're at the meetings. And I just really wanted to say thank you and really appreciate everything you do. And I know all the, like I said, things help. You help the people out at the holidays and everything. And that's a wonderful organization. And I know Dave and Ryan support you, and I know they'll hopefully keep any extra state funding coming your way, and because when I see them, I'm going to ask them about it. So, but I just want to say thank you and really appreciate everything, Bill.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that comment. It's nice to hear. We don't hear it a lot, but you know, we know we're we know we're taking care of our vets and stuff. And you know, you're right. Our friend Joe Lufty from Milford, he comes up every Tuesday for the coffee social. We got about 25 guys that come up, and Mike comes up as well with them. And you know, and like I said, my operations manager Debbie Erickson is from Milford as well. So we got veterans coming all over, and you know, we do our veterans coffee social every Tuesday. And yeah, I got a lot of Air Force vets in there backing me up here. So, but we've had a lot of female vets coming in. We're trying to encourage our female veterans to come back in. But you know, these old timers, you know, there's no flies on them, and we don't talk politics in there. And but we got a good group. And you know, I just met with a vice president down at Cumberland Farms in Westboro. And it turned out the girl that's working for me up in my Westfield office, this is her daughter. And so she got me, I got in there. And what they're going to do now, starting next month, is Cumberland Farms just gave us a $5,000 donation, $2,500 for each office. And they're going to provide all the coffee. They're going to provide all the breakfast sandwiches, donuts, and they're going to do both of our office in Worcester every Tuesday, and then the third Thursday up in Westfield. So that's a great partnership. So these guys don't know that we're doing that, so I'm putting it out there now. So they're going to be eating very well, and Cumberland Farms they were very appreciative that they're coming on board as our partner here in doing that. So,
well, that is wonderful, because it's so nice to see some of these organizations helping veterans, and as you know, like only 1% serve now, but there's still a lot of the the veterans from the prior wars and eras out there that need help, and like I said, it's really great that there's an organization like yours around.
Yeah, thank you very much. I mean, people tell me that I'm very active. I'm very active on social media. Because I think it's important when I have businesses and community members making a donation to Project New Hope here, so we can fill our food pantry up here, that we can do a coffee social.
Right.
We did a thing up at Lilac Hedge Farm where they went up there for the day, and there was music, and our partner, what's it called, the steak place there, why am I going blank here, Texas Roadhouse. And
okay.
they catered the whole event for us free of charge. So all our veterans and their family members, we had a family day up there. They had the band. The kids went over to the petting zoo they have up there and stuff. So,
And this was all free for
it's
veterans?
all free for veterans and their spouses and their children.
Wow.
And we've rented out movie
really
theaters.
nice.
Yeah, it's so we try to do a lot of other things. We're trying to, like I always said, Barry, that you can treat me, the veteran, but you have to also treat my family. Because my PTSD, when I get out of the service there, it affected me, but it also affected my wife, and the fallout my children saw as well. And so I call it wraparound services. You can't just treat me, the veteran. You got to take care of my spouse and my children as well here. And as a papa of 7 grandchildren, it gives me like a second chance to. Hey, I'll spoil these kids and give them everything they want or whatever here. And then even with my adult children now, because, I'll be married 43 years in January. And I always tell people, I says, I'm an angel. I says, I don't know how I put up with my wife for all these years. And they call her a Saint Donna. And but I'd be lost without her and stuff. And but no, it's anything we can do to help our men and women, or the Blue Star moms, the Gold Star moms, or the Gold Star wives and stuff. We're very active in our community and stuff. And so I think it's very important with our donors that, I don't want anybody to ever say, hey, I gave him a box of pencils and, he kept them or something. We write out an in-kind donation slip. We acknowledge all those donations. We send them a thank you. And I like to post on social media to our community partners. Thank you, Cumberland Farms. Thank you, Hanover Insurance, National Grid, Eversource, et cetera, et cetera. And so I think it's very important. And
It's amazing how much these companies help out, and they don't take any credit for it.
no, they
Right.
they don't, and you know, and then we try to be a good steward. Like we had a lot of we had a lot of extra school supplies and in backpacks. And I've been part of Operation Homefront for many years. I used to be the president of Operation Homefront New England years ago before I started Project New Hope. And so we gave out all the backpacks, all the military and veterans families. We had them up at the 104th Fighter Wing in Westover Air Reserve Base, Hanscom Air Force Base, the 25th Marines up at Fort Devens. And there was a woman, Trish Tarantino, her husband was an Auburn police officer. He got murdered on a traffic stop.
I remember that,
And
yes.
Trish is, she's a teacher out in Brookfield. And they don't have a lot of money out there in that community, so we donated, I think, 8 boxes of backpacks and boxes of school supplies. And they were, I says, you know, you don't want, I try to be a good community partner and put this stuff back into the community, because it does no good sitting in my warehouse
Right.
when there's so many other families out there struggling and stuff. And then we also donated some over to the Leston Middle School. And so that's good to see. So, you know, we pride ourselves in being, you know, the community is supporting us. We want to help our community as well. So, but Barry,
Right.
thank you for that acknowledgement. I
Right,
appreciate
right.
that.
And I think, you know, like, as you know, Congressman McGovern supports you, and,
Yes.
and so that really helps out, too.
Yeah, Jim's a great advocate for veterans, and matter of fact, he had I think his name was Joe Basiglia that worked for him years ago, and Joe got me my 100% service connected, and so it's no, Jim is very, you know, he's very big on food insecurity, and he's very big on helping us veterans and stuff. But
Right.
yeah.
Well, I just wanted to call in, and I just wanted to say, you know, appreciate everything you guys are doing, and there's a lot of accolades out there that people are talking about your organization and group, and so just keep up the great work, and you guys stay safe and be well, and thanks again.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your
Okay.
call.
Thanks for calling, Barry.
Well, that was very nice.
Yeah, Barry's a regular caller,
Okay.
but you know him?
No, offhand, maybe by face. I'm terrible with names.
Yeah, same with me.
Yeah, but Joe Lufty, he's
But it
talking
sounds
about.
like he goes to some of your socials.
Yeah, well, he knows Joe Lufty from Milford. So
Yeah.
Joe's at every one. Joe's an Air Force vet as well. So I used to have a big Air Force flag there, but they said I have to take. I had to put all the flags up, or I couldn't have that one up. So I took it down. So, but my Air Force recruiter comes to the coffee social every Tuesday. He's 83 years old, Mike Lazonis. He put me in the service, put my younger brother in the service, and
I can't,
Play the video?
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
would you like to, play that video? That'd be
Yeah.
great.
Yes.
I gave you, the gentleman
Yeah.
there a couple of short little
you know,
videos
a couple
about,
of good videos,
yeah.
giving people an idea what this is all about.
yeah, it'd be great, yeah.
All the support that we've received is, it's Christmas time. They did the Christmas gifts for our grandkids. The food pantry has been a lifesaver. Food is getting more expensive every day, and it shows. And it's just been a help, and everybody there has been so helpful and so friendly and so supportive.
Recommend that they just stop by, because they definitely will help you out.
A gentleman to help us out to get our message out there. So he created a couple of these short little videos, but we're waiting for the big one. He came to our golf tournament. He had put the drone up in the sky there, and he came to our motorcycle run, and then interviewed.
When you get that, let me know and
All right.
we'll play it here.
Yeah, so we had that, and then every year when the VA used to be up on Lincoln Street in Worcester, I'd dress up as Santa Claus at Christmas time, and I'd have my candy canes. And I used to walk the halls, and I'd stop at all the nurses' station and give all the nurses a candy cane and ho 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 and stuff. And then they built a new VA, and it's like Fort Knox. You can't move. But what I did every year is I always hired a ice cream truck, and I sent it up to the Worcester VA, and to thank our doctors and thank our nurses and thank the staff that work at the Worcester VA, and they really liked it. It's just a small appreciation for me as a vet. That's where I do all my health care, just to say thank you. And so we tied it in this year, is each veteran that came to the farmer's market, we gave them a coupon, and they could go right over to the ice cream truck and get an ice cream with them and their spouses and stuff and stuff.
Oh.
So we do that. So I'm always looking for things to say thank you and give back and help out and stuff, but it's worthwhile.
Yeah, those VA people work awful hard.
Yeah, it's a tough job. I mean, it's they got a tough job. I think it's a lot different when you were in. It's a lot different when I was in. We didn't have a lot of these benefits here. I think since like 9/11, these veterans, there's a lot more access to help for the veteran, for the family members.
Yes.
We didn't have any of that stuff.
No.
I remember when I came back and I get out in the Air Force, 1980, and I went down to the old Donahue building downtown Worcester. It was the VA. It was dark and dreary in there and stuff, and they had the veterans agent in there.
Yes.
And trying to open up a claim here, and then as I was going through using the GI Bill, I went to Quincy College. I think I was up there 6 years. I should have had 3 associate's degree coming out of there, but it was like a part-time job. I was getting paid to go to school.
Yep.
I was working full-time for the state, and I used to go up there, and they would the treasurer, what's her name, or whatever. The woman that heads up the classes and all that.
Oh, Dean is too.
The dean of students or whatever. And I was working for the state, and I'd go up there and make my telephone calls during the day, and I'd get all my classes. So she says, Bill, you've been here 6 years. You got to get out of here. And she says, I'm putting you in biology 2. I says, Tara, you can't put me in biology 2. I haven't had biology 1 yet. She says, I'm the registrar. I can do what I want. So you put me in biology 2, and I graduated with my associate's degree in human services. And I was up there 6 years. I had like staff, but they thought I worked there. I was there so long. And so then
Yeah, the average person's there for 2 years.
2 years, yeah. But I took photography classes. I took an EMT course. I said, listen, I'm just looking for all the credits here, because the more credits I took, the more money I made.
Right.
And we were a young family. We weren't making a lot of money at the state and stuff here. And then I went over to Assumption College, and the party was over. And so I went in there, and it was a math course. And they said, you got to take 2 math courses, or you got to take 2 language courses. I says, I'll take the 2 math courses, the worst of the 2 evils here. I'm lucky I can speak English. None of them might speak a foreign language.
Right.
So I took the math course, and I had a teacher. He taught at Worcester Academy up on Providence Street in Worcester, the private
Oh, yeah,
school up there.
familiar with Worcester Academy.
And he handed out, now I just got out of the Air Force. I was out maybe a year, and I was working at Kenwell, a welding place down off of Shrewsbury Street and stuff. And he gave a paper, like, what do you remember? What do you know? And I looked at that thing there, and it was like geometry and all this stuff. And I says, I put my name on the paper. I got up, I handed it to him. I went out in the hall. He said, what's the matter? I says, they didn't teach any of that stuff when I was going to North High School. Or maybe they did, but I wasn't in the class. And he's, listen, if you come to every one of my classes, he says, I do a tutorial class before the math course. You come and you try, I won't fail you. I had to get a graphing calculator for the math course. You needed a degree just to work the graphing calculator. The teacher programmed it all for me. I still don't even know how to do it. So I went in there, and the first semester, I got my report card. I got a D+. I was happy. I hung that up on my refrigerator at home. And my kid says, Dad, if we ever came home with a D+, and I should still be grounded right now. And then I got a D+ the next semester. So then I was done with the math, for my bachelor's. And then that graphing calculator, I says, what am I going to do with that? So I gifted it to the teacher. I says, give it to a student that maybe the parents can't afford to buy one, because the VA bought it for me. Doesn't the next year my daughter needs a graphing calculator for a math class? My wife says, yeah, you gave that away. I said, so I bought another one. But that teacher, he was incredible, because when I was going to school, the Catholic school, I went to St. Stephen's on Grafton Hill, and then my parents bought a house, and I went over to Providence Street Junior High, and then Boys Trade and stuff. And I never learned the basics of math, and when they just promoted you, so I never grasped it from like the first, second, third grade or whatever,
Right.
which affected me later on in life, because I couldn't do it. And I watched my 9-year-old grandson, and he's doing the multiplication and how he's figuring what the answer is. And I'm like, Boo, I'm really proud of you how you're doing that. And I says, Papa's very smart, and I can help you with your math. And he said, Papa, I'm not gonna have you help me, because when you were helping Auntie Casey, she had all the right answers, and you made her change all the answers, and she got them all wrong. I says, that's folk story. I said, don't listen to that there. Oh, no, Auntie Casey, my mom told me that was the thing there, but, you know, and then went on for my master's degree at Assumption College in counseling and stuff, and that's where I am now. And, you know, I'm glad I took advantage of the GI Bill. I used all that money up, and then I qualified because I was a disabled vet, and I got Chapter 31 voc rehab and went back to school again there and stuff. So I told him I wanted to go for my PhD, and he's my instructor from the VA says, you're done. You've used every ounce of money available. And but no, it was good. It was a good experience.
Well, you can go back now. I think in some cases the colleges let you go for free
Yeah, I think you can, or
if you're over 65.
yeah, I'm over 65. I'll be 68 tomorrow. But, you know, I always wanted to go back where I'm running a veterans nonprofit, you know, as the
Right.
CEO and stuff. So I'd like to go back and sit in a class.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe management or bookkeeping or whatever the case might be. I was thinking about doing it, but we'll see. You know, you know, go back to Assumption College and sit in the back of the classroom. I don't want to do any work or papers
Right.
or anything. I just want to, you
Just
know.
listen to the lecture.
Yeah, exactly. That's it, you know, so.
Yeah, I'd like to go see some. I've taken history classes.
Mm.
But yeah, I can't sit in school anymore. Like I got to be out.
Well, the chairs are so small. I mean, I was
I know.
I was just where was I recently? I was in a, where the heck was, could have been Assumption College. I was up there for something with the United Way or something. I'm sitting in the seat there. I said, I couldn't sit here.
It is not designed for guys.
No,
outside.
not at all, you know. But, yeah, take advantage of the GI Bill, because they, you know, a lot of these vets are coming out, they don't even use it, but,
Right.
you know, I used it, you know, and it helped me out, you know, with getting promoted within the state, and I was working part-time as a home-based therapist. And,
I got a little bit of education with it, but I went right back to work at my old job
Yep,
after 2 years. Because that's what we're doing. I was always in sales, and I went back right into sales, and I've been in sales ever since.
yeah, no, it's, you know, I tell even my kids and my grandchildren, I says, you know, I mean, you go to school, I was lucky because the VA paid for all my education stuff. If I had to pay out of pocket, I'd probably be still paying all that money years and years and years.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I tell a lot of these, my grandchildren, I says, listen, you know, not everybody's made out for college here. And, you know, I've seen a lot of people get a bachelor's degree and a master's degree, be lucky making $25,000, $32,000 a year.
Right.
I said, but you go into a trade school and you learn plumbing, carpentry, HVAC or whatever, you come right out of that school there, and you go get a union job or get a job making $25, $30 an hour.
Right.
You know, so it's things have, you know, things have changed, because we'll always need those trades.
Yeah, and it's not costing you
No.
a small fortune.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
The kids got to look at that too. A lot of kids. But if you want to plan on going to college, it's not a bad idea to go in the military first.
Right.
Then pick up your GI Bill after that.
Yeah, I mean, I worked for the city of Worcester. I got out and I worked at the city of Worcester up at Worcester Airport. I was a crash rescue firefighter, so I was a firefighter up at Worcester Airport before they rebuilt it all, and I had police powers. And then, you know, I got bored with that, and I left that, and I took a job.
Not too much happened there at that time.
No, not at that time. No, they're lucky if they had one plane fly in there or whatever. But and then I took a job. I went back in. I got a job down at Otis Air Force Base down the Cape.
Oh, okay.
And I got on the crash crew down there as well. And as I was telling you earlier, when I was down there, I think I only lasted 6 months. And the chief told me, you can't do this job anymore. You know, because I got hurt in the middle. I was a firefighter. I got hurt.
Were you commuting from Worcester to the Cape?
Yeah, we worked 24-hour shifts. So and that took a toll on me.
You were going to say,
know.
that's a good ride.
That was a good ride, yeah. And so he just says, Billy, you know, you can't do this job anymore. So I left that job and I came back, and I think I worked at the Big D stocking shelves at night. And then I got the city job working. I went back reservoir security. I think I was working for the city.
Yep.
And then I got a job with the state. I was working with the Metropolitan District Commission up at the Wachusett Reservoir as a laborer. And so then I was going to school. I got my associate's degree, and I was working towards my bachelor's, and then I I got the bachelor's degree, and I transferred from the MDC to the Department of Youth Services, and I was working in the juvenile lockup on Belmont Street, Worcester Secure, and then was working on that, and that's when I think Peter Salucci, Salucci was the lieutenant governor.
Oh,
Weld,
Salucci.
yeah, and Weld was there,
Yeah,
and
Bill Weld.
Matt Amarello was our state senator at the time, and so then I went to.
Paul Salucci was on this show.
Oh, was he? Yeah, great guy.
Yep, a
And-
super guy.
Yeah, so I went for an interview at DSS, at the time, that's what they call it, Department of Social Services, and Sue Hennigan was the director, and she said, I don't have any openings or anything right now, but I'll keep your resume. And then a week later, I'm back in front of Sue Hennigan, and she says, you know a lot of people. I says, what are you talking about? I said, I just put my resume back in. She says, yeah, but you were here last week, and she says, when can you start? And Weld called on my behalf, Salucci called on my behalf, Matt Amarell called on my behalf. But I had the education and stuff. Then I got into DSS, and I worked there for, I think, over 8 years, working with the juveniles, which I really loved, and the foster care system. It was tough. It's as a social worker, you're not just working with one child in a home. You're working with all the siblings and the mom and dad. And
Right.
and I would say, my job is to get me out of your life. And, I was a little bit older, and I had younger social workers working in there, and I would say, the service plan you're putting in place for these families, you couldn't follow it. It sounds good on paper, you're sitting there, and we used to have to type everything up. You're putting all
Yep.
these stipulations on them. Why don't you give them a couple of small tasks, like make sure there's food in the refrigerator, make sure the children are seeing their doctors and this and that, and build their self-esteem up here and stuff. And we were allowed to have 18 cases. I think I had 21 at the time. But I followed them right through school. And what's really encouraging is I see a lot of them now, they're adults, and I see them out in the community. And Bill, thank you for being my social worker. And, I always told them, I'm not above you, I'm not below you. I'm right here. We're on the same path here. I'm your social worker, and that's it.
A lot of people don't realize how many foster children there are out there.
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot of them are looking for a home here and stuff, and it was tough because if they were taken out of a house on a 51A, I'd have to go there, and I took a girl out of a house on Main South, and the father came at me with a hatchet. I had two cruisers there, Worcester cops with me, and I got the child there and took her out. And then now you're trying to find a foster home for them. If you try to put them with their family members, we have to do a Corey check. But if it was maybe an
Yep.
OUI or something, they could waive that and put the child with a family member. But if there wasn't somebody available, we'd have to find a foster home. And I might be driving to Northborough or Westboro or Gardner and drop the kid in a foster home, and then have to go back the next morning, get the child, bring the child back to my office. It was terrible, and but I really, really loved that job. I really did, but I was kind of burnt out with it, and then I left DSS and I took a job with Workforce Central as a disabled employment rep, and then probably a year, 15, 16 months later, the VA put me at 100% total and permanent, and I retired and
Yeah.
stuff. And,
But then you couldn't work either.
right, it couldn't work. But I'm doing a lot of volunteering, but yeah, it's worthwhile here. Like I said, I was 50, I was too young. You got to stay busy. I've seen a lot of friends that retire at a young age, and they're gone the following year or whatever.
Yep.
So it's been a good ride, and we're talking here. When are you going to retire again? I said, well, probably when they put me in the box, and because I really love it. My wife's involved with it. She started it with me, and so it's good. And but it was nice to Barry call in and acknowledge like what we're doing and stuff. And,
Now, you're leaving for Florida in a couple of months, right?
yeah, I leave December 28th for Florida, and I'll come back on March 1st.
You stay till Christmas.
I'll stay for Christmas, yeah, with my kids and the grandkids and stuff, and then I'm heading out, and I'm very good. I give
Now,
public.
what happens while you're gone? Project Hope slow down?
Oh no! Well, it's the slow month. The food pantry still goes on the first and third Saturday. The farmers market will end in November.
There's no farmers,
right.
there's no fresh produce
Right.
available.
Yeah, and then so what we start doing is we start looking at the retreats we're gonna do next year. So now we're bringing the trauma-based specialists on. We're working with the retreat facilities, getting contracts signed over there, working with a holistic and wellness people. You know, with the retreats, we contract with a farm up in Southampton, Mass, for equine therapy, and that's the second day of the retreat. And then we bring people in. Have you ever had reflexology done?
No, but I've heard of it. And
Yeah,
I've heard
reflexology,
It really works well.
it's-
A lot of people say it works well.
Oh
for
my
them.
God, we have a woman that lives up in Pittsfield, and she's been with me now for over 10 years.
You got a woman right here in town that does it.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of them. So the reflexology is like massaging your feet and stuff.
Yes.
And this woman, she'll be doing reflexology on you, sit in her chair, and she puts you back in the chair, and she'll say, "You got shoulder pain up in that right thing." Like it's like you got to remember, everything goes down into your feet, or you
Right.
know, and she can tell like what's going on, you know, this and that. She's incredible. So we do the
It's
reflexology.
amazing what they do.
We do the Reiki. The Reiki is more like, you know, stuff like this here or whatever. You know, that's different. I love the reflexology. The Reiki, I mean, it's a good. We all have different vices.
Yeah.
We bring a woman in from New York. She does all our yoga and Irish yoga. I like Irish yoga better because you're down on the floor with your cushions and your pillows, and she dims the lights and she talks and stuff, and I'm out like a light in about 10 minutes. Gone. We do the Reiki, the reflexology, the massage, acupuncture. I don't like needles. And I had this gentleman and his wife came in from Boston to do acupuncture. He's, "Bill, you're always encouraging the vets and their families to do it. Well, you got to try it too." And I said, "I'll be right back." And he said, "Every time you tell me you'll be right back, I never see you for the rest of the retreat." He goes, so I let him put one needle like here, right between my eyes here. He says, "Only one," and I said, "That's it." But I have a lot of vets that come in. They love the acupuncture. I had a gentleman, Bobby from Boston, a Green Beret.
You don't feel it though.
No, the thing, it's like thinner than a broomstick, the thing
Right.
there, and they put them in your ears. So we have, she's going to be coming back to our next retreat, and they put them in your ears. But Bobby, he was a Green Beret, 5th Special Forces. He was laying on the floor, and he like put one here, because his lower back and stuff. And can you put something bigger in there? He loved the needles, and me, I didn't like it, but I like the mindful. We do mindful meditation, and I met a gentleman. His name was Claude Thomas, and he was down at the Framingham, the Army, where they develop all the Army stuff there.
Oh, Natick Labs.
Natick Labs. So I heard that he was coming in to talk about mindful meditation. So I went in, and his name was Claude Thomas, and the story behind him was he was in the Army. He was a door gunner on a helicopter. He was shot down 5 times in Vietnam. The last time was in the Mekong Delta. Him and the other door gunner had split sternums, broken backs, and the pilot, co-pilot, they were dead. He comes out of that, and he's down at the Bedford VA, and he was going in for treatment. Of course, he's hooked on the opiates, he's drinking, he had a motorcycle, he had a rifle he carried in his motorcycle, came back from Vietnam, I think 67, 68, somewhere around there. And his therapist at the VA says, "Listen, why don't you go see," there was a monk coming in. He was exiled in France, Thin Thatch, I always butcher the guy's name here. So Claude went there about the mindful meditation. And so I friended Claude, and we communicated. I says, "I'd like to offer a mindful meditation through Project New Hope." He says, "I'll do it under one circumstance. You have to come to one of my retreats up in Rhinebeck, New York." I said, "Where's Rhinebeck, New York?" "The end of the Mass Pike, hook a left." So my wife says to me, "You'll never survive it." I says, "Why?" She says, "Because you're always on this phone." I said, "Well, that's my office, She says, "Good luck." She packed my bags. I went up there. Beautiful. The end of the Pike, the New York thruway up there. Beautiful up there. I pull up to the address, and it's a Korean Buddhist temple. I says, "Oh,
Yeah.
you got to be kidding me." So I go on. I says, "Hey, Siri, find me the closest supermarket or store." 'Cause I figured I'm not going to like the food and stuff. I take the clothes out. I fill the stuff up with my snacks, pretzels, and Coke and this and that or whatever. And so the first night we go in there, and some are sitting on the pillows, some are sitting in the chairs here. and Claude comes in, and he's now an ordained Zen Buddhist monk. He got ordained as a Vietnam veteran, and incredible human being. And he says, brother, can you come at least, can you stay at least 1 or 2 days? I said, I'll stay 2 days, but it was right around November, and being involved with the American Legion, the VA, Veterans Day and stuff. So I did that, and he says, brother, you're gonna stay for breakfast? I said, oh, Claude, I gotta get back. I got things going on here. I'm leaving. I says, thank you very much. We'll be in touch. I get on the thruway. I'm driving down. A deer jumps over the guardrail in front of my truck. I lock up the brakes. I didn't hit him. I says, I should have stayed at that retreat. I thought this was an omen that, this deer jumped out. And I told him that. He said, oh, Bill Moore, you're crazy. You make me laugh here. So he comes and he does retreats, and I just had him back here this year. And a lot of Vietnam vets have came. But what he does here is the retreat is, you're sitting here at the dinner table, everybody gets their food. You can't sit down until everybody gets the food. Then you sit down. You can't talk. You got to chew your food like 50, 60, 100 times. I said, I'm an Irish Catholic. I was one of 6. My mom put the food down. We dove in and got the food.
Yeah.
Walk-in meditation. We had to practice walk-in meditation like in a circle. We had to talk meditation while eating. Meditation going back and forth to, the place. I mean, my brain, I told my wife when I got home, I says, my brain has never been like flatline. And so when I talk about, like, Bobby liked the acupuncture, I like the mindful meditation, the reflexology. Other veterans like the yoga, or they might like the the Reiki. So we got to find out what works for us and stuff. And what's good about it is the veterans can come to these retreats, and they can also bring their spouse with them, or their caretaker. If they're a wounded warrior and they have a mom or a dad or a brother or sister, and they're caring for the veteran, we have allowed them to come into our retreats as well. So it's the retreats are really incredible just to see the healing that's going on. But we have a great partnership with the VA. We get a lot of referrals from them, the Vet Center, other veterans organization. We try to stay in our lane. We work like Clear Path and Massachusetts Veterans Shelter and a lot of different organizations and stuff. But it's really worthwhile.
Yeah, you do quite a bit for them.
Yeah, we try. We try.
Well, we got an organization here in town, a young man who was a Navy veteran. He formed a group called An Officer and Two Gentlemen.
Oh, yes, he was doing the winter sports stuff.
Yeah, he still is.
Oh, is he still doing it?
Yeah.
He was very good friends with my nephew, and my nephew got killed, and that's how I met him. My nephew brought him over, and they had like a trailer of water that rolled over, and they donated all this bottled water to it, and I met him. And I talked to him about, he wanted to start his nonprofit. He's still doing that?
Yeah, he's got all his gear next door.
Oh, great.
A regular store where he sells gear for the winter retreat.
Yeah, great kid there, and
Mike.
Mike. I don't like the cold, but he's invited me out and stuff.
You're in Florida while he's up there.
I'm in Florida. Yes, I am.
He goes to New Hampshire.
Yeah, he does. He's all over the place. I'm glad to hear. I didn't think he was still doing it, but I'm glad he's still doing it.
I think he might have a problem this year where he had a problem getting some of the grants.
It's very hard right now. Things are tough out there with the grants.
Well, the governor's dried up a lot of the grant
They
money.
sure have. They sure have. I mean, we got, my state rep got some money for us, and the governor put a freeze on all that money. So
Yes.
it was approved by the legislature and everything else. She signed it, but then, because of what's happening with the grants with the federal government, this or that, so.
Yeah, with federal grants, and a lot of it's going for the illegals,
Yeah,
which, unfortunately, we gotta take care of our veterans. That should be priority one, to take care of the veterans.
yeah, I agree. I mean, take care of the veterans and take care of our own citizens first. So a lot
Yes.
of our own citizens are struggling with food insecurity, housing, the housing market. Who could afford that rent now?
Well, having worked at the welfare department, you've seen it firsthand.
Right, yeah, it's,
You don't realize how much poverty is out there unless you go and see it.
yeah. Yeah, we see a lot of the vets coming in here, and I mean, they're so thankful here, and it's, we're just trying to, help them out here. Say,
Yeah.
maybe what you're getting from Project New Hope through the food pantry, the baby pantry, maybe that frees up a little bit of extra money for something else on the other end. Your rent, your electric, your heat, or.
A lot of guys, I don't know why they get out. They like it to stay there. But when you go into the military, you're taken care of. You don't have to worry about anything.
Right.
Your medical is going to be right there. Yeah, you're always going to have a meal because there's always meals available.
Yeah, but you know,
If you're married, a little bit different. You're on separate rations. But I'm saying, you're taken care of. Then you get out, and
yeah,
there's nobody to take care of you.
you know, but I really look at that now. I mean, you know, we didn't get a lot of money when we were in the military. I mean,
No.
and they're still not getting a lot of, you know, here they are working 24/7. You're in the guard, you're deployed here, there,
Yeah.
whatever.
Oh, you ain't making a heck of a lot.
You know, your kid might be making more money than you're making on a drill weekend or whatever here, and
Right.
and there's so many veterans that are in the National Guard and Reserve that they come to our food pantry, and what we've done is we even bring food to the armory. So on the weekends when they have drills,
Yeah.
we did that with a couple of units, and we also what we've been doing now with our baby pantries is a lot of them that have young families.
Right.
We work with their family support people on the bases, the 104th Fighter Wing up in Westfield, Westover Air Reserve Base, the 25th Marines at Westover, and they're at Fort Devens, the Army units there, Hanscom. Their family support people come up, we put an order together, diapers, baby food, formula, wipes, children's clothes, because they don't have a lot of space, they said. And so we bring it right to the base, so they come and get it. And then when the men and women come in for their drill weekend, they stop over at family support and they pick up their order and they
A
go home
lot
from
of
there.
these guys are full-time with the military.
A lot of them are, yeah, but a lot of
Even
them,
with the Guard and the Reserve, they
Right.
work full-time,
yeah,
especially with the fighter wings.
right,
They close the bases for regular airmen now.
Yeah.
You don't have the bases are all run by the reserves.
yeah. We got, like I told you, a unit just came back from Poland. They were over there, I think, for 6 months or a year. 3 units just left. 182nd was a medical unit out of Worcester, and then there was 2 others. So I'm also the commander of the Vernon Hill American Legion Post. So what we did with the 181st when they deployed last year is the command sergeant major, Fitzy, was going around and people were saying, hey, what are you doing for our families back home? Because you used to have the family support, but now they don't have that budget anymore. So we donate the hall. Texas Roadhouse came in, they provided the meal. We invited the family members and their children to come. And
Oh.
so we had a Halloween party last year. We did a Christmas party. We had Santa Claus come in. And then the Fitzy and the commander would call in to his wife, and they had the laptop set up. So they were in country in Iraq, talking to the family members at the Vernon Hill post. So we're doing it again for these 3 years. So they came back, and Fitzy gave me a flag that they flew over their base there, and a nice citation
Yep.
stuff, helping the family. So we're doing that again. We just did our first one. We'll do another one here in October, and then November, and then December, until their loved ones come back. So they have camaraderie here, and they're with other spouses and the children, and now they have resources. They can bounce off each other and help each other there. So we're also doing that on the side as well. So there's so much going on. I forget what I'm doing.
I know, when I worked out in the Springfield area, see those C5s taking off constantly.
Yeah,
And those were all Air Guard men.
yeah, yeah. I had those at Rhein-Main Air Base, and both you and I served in Germany, and we had
Yeah.
the C5s, the 141s, the C9 medevacs, and the what else? The C9, the 130, the 141, and the C5s. Now, Westfield, the 104th Fighter Wing, they're getting the the 35s, the new fighters.
Yes.
When I'm up there for doing a retreat or up my Westfield office, I always say Merca, hearing them jets taking off and stuff, and then seeing those C5s take off, that winding noise, you
Yes.
can hear them coming around, and
It's hard to believe something that big can fly.
unbelievable. Like, how do the wings even stay on there? You see them
I
like they're
know.
bouncing like
It's
that.
amazing when you see it.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's been pretty. When I was in Germany, we were on the fire department because you're always drilling, and hatch number 5 is right over the cockpit on the C5.
Yep.
So we'd always have index cards, like we're talking on the radio. C5, we're going to set up on the left side of the aircraft. C2 or something on this side here, and then the P8, our structural truck's coming in and says, the pumper here, we're going to do a double reverse and blah, blah, blah. And the chief says, do that double reverse. There was hose all over the runway here, right? After we did that. So, and then on top of the crash trucks was a ladder. And you'd have to put the ladder up, and we'd have to be bunking out and go up that ladder on that C5 was high up.
Oh, yeah.
And you'd have to push in the lever and the hatch would fall in.
Yeah, it's like
and
a
then
5
you-
or 6 story building.
You'd have to climb. Let me tell you now, I'm petrified of heights. Going over the bridge into Newport, I get anxiety. And we never said that again about we're going to do a double reverse, a straight lay into the. We said nothing anymore. We just set up on the trucks because the chief called us on it, and there was we were picking up hose. We had hose everywhere. Oh my God, some good times. We laughed about it now, but yeah.
Have you ever gone to the American Heritage Museum in Hudson?
You know what? I haven't been there yet. So
You
many
gotta
people
go.
are going. Yeah.
You gotta go. It's an amazing place. We're
Yeah.
getting on the wire here, but I was there in a couple months ago. Unbelievable.
Is that the place that has the tanks? They bring the tanks out in
Yeah,
the trucks and all.
you can
Yeah.
actually ride in the tank.
Oh, really? Wow. You think
And,
I'd fit inside it?
Yeah, get right
Okay.
inside the tank.
All right.
But they actually got a Scud missile
Oh, wow.
from Iraq.
Yep.
They kept it from during the Iraqi war.
Wow.
They're sitting inside the museum.
Well, I got a stack of Iraqi money in Hussein or whatever his name is on the. It's like it has a 5
Yeah.
on it. It's a big bill, and I got it all. They gave it back to me. A lot of. I had a flag. It said Allah Aqaba, and I had it down in my man room in my basement, right?
God is great.
My friend is a colonel, and he says, Billy, you got that flag upside down. I said, how do I know that flag is upside down? I said, I can't read that thing. So he turned it around for me, Allah Aqaba, yeah. And so I got that hanging in there, and I got all the money from Iraq and, different things here, helmets and all types of stuff. And I have a challenge coins. I got challenge coins, get presented a lot of challenge coins from a lot of our military members and stuff. And no, it's all good. It's all good. Anything to help out our fellow vets and their families, and it's what we do.
Oh yeah, yeah. But the museum's well worth the trip.
Yeah,
Believe me.
they charge you to get in.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably just keep things running. I'd like to. I heard a lot of great things about it. I've heard a
Oh.
lot of. They do reenactments, I believe.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
But they take you from the Revolutionary War right up to today,
Oh wow.
and there's exhibits all. They actually have a boxcar that was used by the Nazis to transport the Jews.
Really? Wow.
They rebuilt the Hanoi Hilton with actual stone from the Hanoi Hilton,
Really? Wow.
and they got a model cell in there, and it's an experience that's second to none.
When I was in Germany in the 70s, I went to Dachau in Germany, and they wanted to destroy it, and they said, no, you're going to keep it as a memorial. And you got that eerie feeling going in there, looking at you're going in here to shower, they shut the door, they gassed them. I mean, just the cruelty that went on there, it was unbelievable to see that stuff.
They got a couple of fighter jets inside that museum too.
Oh, I'll have to definitely go now.
Oh yeah, believe me, you will not be sorry.
Yeah, people said you need more than like one day to go through everything
Oh
they
yeah,
have
yeah,
there.
it's gonna take a full day.
Yeah.
Oh, we gotta run.
All right.
Thank you for coming in, Bill.
No, thank you for having me. This was great, and anytime we can get our message out. Again, if you have any volunteers that are listening out there, if they could go to projectnewhopema.org and check out our website. We're looking for volunteers at the food pantry on the first and third Saturday of every month. Or if they got free time during the week, they can come in and fill orders or whatever. Or if you're a veteran, reach out to us. We have a form on the line, Connecting the Dots. Just fill that out, and our case manager will give you a call and hook you up with whatever services you need. But again, thank you very much. It's a pleasure being down here in Northbridge.
Okay, thank you, Bill. And we'll see you in 2 weeks. I'm taking next Thursday off. It's my anniversary.